Hey guys, Dov here, back with another underrated Lord for Total War Warhammer 2, and today we're taking a look at the Beastlord. Yes, indeed, on the chariot here, probably one of the most underrated support lords in the game, and why do I say that? He's got double melee attack buff. This one of the first beast, first of all, is fantastic for Beastmen, extra melee attack, charge bonus, and leadership, all great. Same thing with its apocalyptic vision, extra leadership and melee attack, makes him a very nice offensive buff lord. You've also got this bloodlust, castable on any ally, plus 25% armor piercing damage, synergizes great with, giants, minotaurs, anything like that. I don't have either of those, but I do have also a unit of Razorgore chariots. Yeah, keep in mind as well, Beastlord 103 charge bonus on that thing, good armor piercing damage. The charge bonus is really what you want to look for combat for him. If you're fighting single entities, if they come down to the ground, like for example here, Red Legion's got Eltharion, my plan is going to be to countercharge Eltharion once he gets to ground, but just to quickly go over the rest of the builds here, front line of Ungor Spears, second line of Goreherds with shields, got a couple of Raiders, Brashim and Lore of Beasts, and that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, that's right, almost forgot, I got a Gorbel and the Sons of Goros in a little mobile hit squad there. Gorbel is also sporting the Axe of Man, which allows him to cause terror. It does recharge in melee, so I've got to be careful about when I use it. It's 120-second melee recharge time, but anyway, for Eltharion here, he's got some Rangers up front, Silverin Guard, Lyrian Reavers, and Silver Helms, just, High Elves. Eltharion's High Elves, as you would expect. So we're going to get a big old frontline engagement here. Don't worry too much about getting the countercharge with my Ungor Spearmen, but I do get a nice countercharge here with some of the Goreherds. They'll lose to the Rangers anyway, but I'm hoping I have enough numbers to go here in the frontline engagement and win. Meanwhile, the Beast Lord punches through to this side, gets caught out by Eltharion, and this is exactly what I don't want to happen, right? Surrounded by Silverin Guard, caught by Eltharion, so I'm going to go ahead and pull away there, start to screen out with the actual unit of chariots, and pull back through my own lines there, get a nice little rear charge. In the meantime, those Rangers have taken a ton of damage. The front line, Red Legion's doing a great job harassing my back line with these Lyrian Reavers, though. You can see I've got my Raiders in combat. Granted, in the woods, actually, in combat's not the worst thing in the world. They'll do okay in terms of punching back because they've got decent melee attack, 25, not too bad for a unit of that class at all. The Manticore summon, though, is immediately going to drop down and start supporting. I was going to maybe throw it after Eltharion, who's currently, let's call it, being held in place by these chariots. Yeah, totally intentional. Gorbel, though, is very, very key here. Besides Eltharion, there's not really that many great, tools for the High Elves to take out Gorbel. And even then, Eltharion kind of has to cycle charge him a little bit. He doesn't want to stay in sustained combat. The Sons of Goros, unfortunately, got kind of killed by Silverin Guard there, who do hard counter them, for the record. But here we've got a second Manticore summon up. Or no, this is the regular Manticore summon, the first one. So it's going to come in here, rear charge Eltharion. He pulls back up into the air, but that means we're going to be able to get a little bit of a pitched engagement mano-a-mano here, which is just fine. And in fact, I'm a Beastman. I don't really want ever a fair fight. So we're going to summon a second Manticore and pull this Beastlord up and around to give both of them extra melee attack as they fight Eltharion here, so we could potentially get a favorable 2-on-1. That's also going to hit these Razorgore chariots as well, help stabilize their leadership, give them a little bit of extra melee attack, actually up to 48 melee attack. Man, you see that Beastlord on the side take a swipe at these Silverin Guards? I know there's a very pitched air combat right above us, but anyway. Eltharion's actually going to try and run away from those Manticores there. One of the summons drops, which is understandable. It had been up for some time, but oh dang, did I miss it? I might have to splice in a shot after the fact. There was a massive fiery convocation down the line here, and you can see Eltharion's got only 31 kills. Wow, that's a little bit less than I expected, to be honest. He did get a big old, you can see the scar of it right here down the front line. Clipped quite a few of my infantry units, but it wasn't quite enough to win the frontline fight. I was able to still win in a few places. You can see also these Razorgore chariots now sprung free, able to avoid Eltharion since he's getting chased around by the Manticore. We can just do some nice anti-infantry damage, even if the Silver Helms come through. This is one thing, like I was mentioning about the Cold One chariots in that video. Armor-piercing chariots just have extra utility in that they can fight heavy cavalry a little bit better than normal chariots. Here comes another fiery convocation, though. Going to be aimed right down the line here of my troops. I'm going to scatter as much as I can It still does get a solid chunk of this unit of Blackhorn's Ravagers here, but also does enough damage to that Silverin Guard to rout it off there. So Fiery Convocation, definitely a very underrated spell, especially since they sped up its cast time. It's a lot better now, and it actually does... did they speed up the cast time, actually, or did they just increase the damage? I can't remember. Maybe they did both. Regardless, though, Eltharion's going to keep healing himself, despite how bad the balance of power looks. I'm kind of in a weird position here. He's got regrouping Reavers and Silverhelms, and I don't have any cavalry left, right? Like, the Sons of Goros are long gone. Really don't have too many mobile units besides the chariots at all, so as Red Legion starts to stabilize a lot of these units that I can't necessarily chase off, balance power will start to come back towards even, and as Eltharion heals himself back up. So although it may seem grim, get it? Because Eltharion, never mind. Things are definitely still winnable for Red Legion here. This is a nice engagement for me, though. I'm able to catch these Silverhelms on the side with a bunch of Ungor Spears. Still got some Flocks of Doom left as well. Trying to use those to best effect against these cavalry, since they have relatively low HP. Oh man, are those actually the Heralds of the Wind? Regiment of Renown? They are. Those guys have decent stats, right? I think. No? Are those just regular Reavers? Dang it, stay in range of my mouse here. Oh, just regular Reavers. I guess it's just that color scheme. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, at this point, we were able to get a nice terror route there. Or not terror route, but just a general route there using that Flock of Doom. And the Beastlord kind of charging in as well. Reforming the lines in the woods, trying to get ready for the second engagement. Gorbel will be pretty key as well at this point. The support from the Beastlord has been on point. I haven't really highlighted it either, but I've been throwing that Bloodlust around as much as I can. And I still got, even in this late game, because you have these two buffs, you can layer one after the other. This one does have to be in melee to recharge, and again, 120 seconds means you're not super likely to get too many of these, one or two maybe. But Red Legion picks off this isolated Gore Herd here, exactly what he should be doing, just, you know, stabilize his forces, kind of chill. Also, keep in mind that the longer I wait, or it's going to be better for him, because, you know, he's healing Eltharion here potentially, but we're going to get the final engagement underway. I emerge from the woods, kind of pull up on the edge of this hill here so we can fire with the Ungor Raiders, start to get some poke. And Eltharion comes down for a nice downhill charge. Of course, he's not actually uphill, technically, but the beast lines await. Where's the Beastlord? Here he is, right in the center, ready to get his buffs, waiting for the last second to countercharge. Elves are coming in, and wait for it. Wait for it, there we go, Apocalyptic Vision. Rush in, boys. Oh, yeah. Rangers, Gores, Ungors all piling in here. Chariots are now going to come in a second wave. Another Fiery Convocation going to try and hit the Raiders there. You can see Gorbel is standing menacingly, making sure those Silverhelms don't punch in the side and just roll up the flank. But of course, once Eltharion drops down, he's going to be primary target number one for Gorbel, so maybe. Looks like right now the Beastlord kind of being hung out to dry a little bit. Definitely pro-micro by me. Gonna finally pull him away there as Eltharion realizes. Unfortunately, my chariots are done for. They had got pretty good damage. 71 kills, just about got an XP chevron. But Eltharion continuing to get that healing. He's also got the physical resistance, of course, of the Fang Sword of Eltharion. So going to be resisting a lot of the damage that's coming in here, potentially. Decides to go after Gorbel, who currently has Axe of Men active, was able to get a really nice tear route, terrify a bunch of those units away. And of course, him having Axe of Men means he's also immune to terror himself. Not that he would get terrified here, he's still very good. And it actually makes him unbreakable, so impossible to even rout at all. I forgot that makes him unbreakable. Pretty good item, to be honest. Does wear off there, so it's unfortunate. But I still got that Bloodlust, and the Beastlord still pulling around, still charging infantry. Arian finally gets a nice hit on him, couple of good splash attacks, and that's basically it for the Beastlord. He's going to rout, get terrified immediately. 150 hit points, probably not likely to come back. So it's up to Gorbel. Balance of power is still back to dead even after all of that fighting. I guess not dead even, slightly in my favor, but... Silver and Guard rushing in, taking shots from the Ungors in the back. They're actually trying to hit Eltharion, do just whatever damage they can. No, actually, maybe they are on the Silver and Guard. Hard to tell. Silver Helms and the Rangers, though, come in to get the Ungor Raiders. Gorbel gets decked right there. Bray Shaman, still alive, obviously, gonna come in and try and help Gorbel as much as he can, but it'll be rough for sure. Gorbel taking out his frustration, not being able to catch Eltharion on these spearmen here. Got some more Gore Herds coming back as well. They can get in and get a good charge, at least if the Silverruns aren't braced. You do have a pretty solid charge bonus. Gorbel manages to catch Eltharion, who tries to flee through the woods here. And keep in mind that, of course, Gorbel suffers no forest penalty, given that he has Woodsman. Eltharion certainly does not. Thus, his speed will be slightly debuffed on the ground. That allows Gorbel to just get a couple of little extra attacks there. Starts to heavily swing the balance of power the more damage Eltharion takes, since he is so expensive. Bray Shaman gets bullied. Gorbel says, go away, he's my buddy. There are still these Silver Helms cleaning up what's left of the Ungor Raiders, and it's just the two heroes for me. So we'll fast forward a little bit through this late game as we get the final engagement. Eltharion coming to ground, and this is it. Shaman and Gorbel gotta finish this. Man, I love Eltharion's Griffin, though. Super cool looking. Nope. You got a quick hit and run charge. Nice hit there, and now screening with the Silver Helms. Unfortunately, they get just absolutely rizeked by Gorbel. Oh, man. Straight up unhorsed by a single axe hit. And now it's time for Eltharion to meet his maker. Actually doing pretty well here, all things considered. Punching back, you can see Gorbel's actually taking a lot of damage. Even without the Grim Resolve, Eltharion still has pretty good stats on his Griffin. I guess he doesn't have Grim Resolve to begin with on his Griffin. But you can see it ends up actually being super duper close here. Like, literally one bad dice roll, and I think that Eltharion could have got 1 or 2 hits on Gorbel and terrified him away, and then that would have ended the game for me. But it just so happens that I get the RNG rolls I need to win with Gorbel there. And yeah, super fun game. Very well played to Red Legion. Probably one of the best games I've played with him. And just an absolute blast. 124 kills there on the Beastlord. So not only was the support ability just massive, but single entity Chariot Lords, especially the like really high charge ones, tend to be pretty strong. I guess they're all pretty high charge for the most part. But the Beastlord, because of the support ability and that charge kind of working in tandem, actually makes him objectively better than Khazrak, in my opinion. Even though Khazrak does hit a little bit harder in melee, he also has Apocalyptic Vision. Let's get into that comparison in just a minute, though. The rest of the analysis of the match here. 71 kills on Razorgore Chariots is okay. Sons of Goros are really here to counter Dragon Princes, if there were any. Ended up not really using them too well. Definitely should have kept them back for when if I had to fight Eltharion in the late game. But for the High Elf side, Silver Helms, we know, great in this matchup, both over 100 kills. Great use of the Reaver Archers as well. 69 kills, 2 XP chevrons, very nice. Silver and Guards also super solid in this matchup. I actually like this build quite a bit. I might, for cost effectiveness sake, probably bring a princess on a Griffin, and then also take a Lore of Beastcaster to summon Manticores, because terror is so good against the Beastmen. You just spread more terror around the field, and it's good, right? But Eltharion's definitely a pretty solid pick. I do think is a little bit overpriced on the Griffin. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Beastlord. We can actually do a direct comparison of him and Khazrak here. So go ahead and queue up one of Morgur's Beastlords, just the same, just a different color. And yeah, he's also got this item here. I don't find this to be wildly useful. Totem of Rust, -7 armor isn't really impactful isn't impactful enough to be useful in my opinion. So you can go ahead and leave that one at home. But coming in on the Chariot with all those abilities, only 1664, which is really cheap. All things considered. And again, you've got that high charge, especially with Primal Fury active over 100. You've got this Apocalyptic Vision here, Horn of the First Beast for that double melee attack buff, extra armor piercing damage from Bloodlust, and Kazarak, I mean, obviously just a little bit better in terms of stats all around. If we take a look here, actually, yeah, Kazarak just straight up slightly better in every way. More armor, more HP, more leadership, more melee defense and attack, higher charge bonus. But you notice he does lack... He has Apocalyptic Vision, and Deadly Onslaught gives an even more charge bonus. But he lacks any other real support abilities, right? Like, this could be said to be a support ability, kind of, if he's poisoning something. But, not really. Also, Dark Mail is only for him, right? So these are both two self-buffs rather than being AoEs. And as a result, he just ends up being a lot less good. And, like, you fully kit him out, he's 2100, which is quite a bit more expensive. 500 points can go a long way for Beastmen. And you cheap him out, and he's just 3 points cheaper than the Beastlord and has, like, worse abilities, in my opinion. He can Vanguard, which is one unique attribute in his favor. But, I mean, a lot of maps you don't really need to Vanguard oftentimes. And doing so can put Kazarak into extreme danger anyway, so it's not always a good idea to. Anyway, back to the Beastlord. Yeah, support abilities makes him I would put him probably just below like Archlector / Volkmar in terms of support ability. Like, he's up there definitely in terms of one of the best support lords in the game. So you don't see him too often, but I personally am a big fan of using him with, like I said, giants, minotaurs, anything really. The AoE attack buffs just synergize so well with the Beastmen, and the charge bonus even more so, right? You've got a lot of really high charge units, and that includes your infantry. Not that this small percentage debuff is really going to do too much for your infantry, but even just adding, 2 or 3 points, 4 points, whatever it may end up being on somebody's weapon strength and attack on the charge will be very, very strong. Can help make the difference. I mean, those few percentage points, especially against units that are, pretty close in terms of their tier and so on. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.